Hi, everybody, and welcome to the lecture, What is Your Pharmacy Business? This week is just this lecture. Last week, due to some difficulties that I've been having with my mics, and hopefully this is a little bit better, but I do have a brand new mic being ordered for my recording, so please bear with me on this video. And last week I had you watch an older tape version of the niche pharmacy video from me, which is still relevant, still the same topics, but next week hopefully my new mic will be here, and so when you watch the video the sound won't be bad, but this sound I believe is better than it was echoing from my other mic. So enough with technical difficulties of online, but what we want to talk today is kind of build on that niche model I was talking about. And when you are starting to think about what do I want to do for my pharmacy business, and for those of you who are going to go on and do the second course of this concentration, which is develop your own business plan and idea, we want to explore this. So we're going to focus on, it doesn't have to be a store, but it could be. Community pharmacies also, in my opinion, to survive the day, have to have some type of niche marketing, and this is very important. So we'll look at what are the opportunities that exist in today's pharmacy world, and I'm going to kind of give you an overview of what the organizational structure you will need to start your business. Later on this semester, we'll talk about operation management of your business. In developing a business, you will need a business plan, and this is what you'll be doing next semester. And that business plan takes into account your research of why is your business relevant? What is the historical evolution that got to this point to make this business relative? You'll also be providing what is the legal structure of this business, which is necessary to be a company and to also for, the ability to make money and also for tax purposes. Your business plan will describe what your product mix is. What is your service mix? What is that niche mix that you offer? Your business plan will also describe where your pharmacy is going to be located. What is the competition in the area? The other part of your pharmacy business will be the organizational structure, listing who will be working for your business, what is their roles and responsibilities, and finally in your business you'll show that your business is going to be insured to protect it from any risks and securities. And the purpose of having this all in a business plan is twofold. One, it is your own roadmap to guide you to get to where you need to be for your pharmacy business, but it also is a way for investors like banks, other people wanting to partner with your business to see why is this a good risk. So what type of pharmacy business do you want? It can be a traditional community pharmacy business. It could be an institutional setting type of pharmacy that provides to long-term care facilities, personal care homes, assisted living, home health. It could be a consulting company that consults with, other community pharmacies to help their business, or consults with nursing homes or with doctors providing clinical services. Maybe your pharmacy business is a technology that can help aid pharmacies in delivering their business. Lots of opportunities are abound. And when you once decide what is your pharmacy business, you'll think about what is the model that you want for this business. And then the final thing is, for this business to be successful, how will this business make money? How will it provide for you and your employees? Some examples of pharmacy entrepreneurs that have existed over the years. There are some entrepreneurs that have developed their own MTM type of private business where they partner with different entities providing clinical services. Some pharmacy entrepreneurs have developed companies where there's online forums for pharmacists to meet to discuss policy issues. There are some companies out there that have become nonprofit that provide immunizations and MTM services to homebound seniors. Some pharmacies have developed certification. They become an educational business to help pharmacists become certified in different entities. Some pharmacists have developed an entrepreneur business that writes, articles for national publications. Some entrepreneurs have developed their own online type of podcasting to provide information about medications and pharmacy related topics. So it doesn't have to be a store, as I said. But whatever business you are going to go into, you need to research that business. What is the challenges of this business? What are the things that your business can provide to the healthcare system? Lots of things are happening. Just for example, we have, pharmacy providers, benefit managers like CVS wanting to buy a health plan, or we have a health plan like Cigna wanting to buy Express Scripts. Jeff Bezos and Amazon bought PillPack last year and looking to get into the adherence pharmacy business. So always there are challenges in this business, and you may say, I'm too small to be part of this, but most successful entrepreneurs do not look at these challenges as negative, but look at opportunities. They look at where their strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats are, and with those are able to develop a business that can grow. Lots of challenges face us in 2019. Drug affordability. Are patients able to obtain their drugs? A lot of people are insured, but they're underinsured. They have high deductible plans. So how could a pharmacy solve their problem? We have an opioid crisis. Patients, are ODing. We have challenges of accessibility of opioids and challenges of guiding physicians to provide clinical recommendations of how to take people off opioids, non-opioid type of pain therapies. We have non-adherence issues that are impacting chronic disease, leading to problems with patients with hospitalizations and ER visits. How can clinical services provide an opportunity? There are opportunities for pharmacies to be compensated for these services by partnering with pharmacy care networks, collaborative practice agreements where physicians can bill for our services and we contract with physicians. There are lots of different opportunities out there. You have to explore to see what are the challenges and how can we do that. So when we have challenges, what are the opportunities that could exist for a future type of pharmacy business? And this is why your assignment for next week is exploring those niches. What are the barriers to the future of pharmacy, in these businesses? Once again, reflecting on the one business entity, the SWOT analysis. What are the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and threats in developing a new type of pharmacy business, and how can we overcome those barriers? What are some of the initiatives we need to do to develop this new revolution of businesses? How do we market to patients, providers, and payers, showing them this is a new type of business that the industry needs? So you need to explore, and that's what this semester is, and next is how can you approach these trends shaping the future of pharmacy, and how can your business meet the needs of patients, providers, and payers with these changes in pharmacy. Lots of other things to think about in the challenges and trends. The rising cost of healthcare, the script volume of how do pharmacies handle the workflow, and how can they do other services when they're too busy filling prescriptions? How can we revolutionize that? Lots of opportunities in taking care of our elderly patients as our population grows in the elderly market. How do we combat the growth of mail order, such as Amazon, Express Scripts? How do we focus on patient safety, which is still always necessary in taking care of patients? Maybe your business focuses on different diverse populations, those the underserved, those where there's language barriers, pediatrics, people that have handicaps, special diseases, specialty pharmacy. Whatever pharmacy business you have, you need to think about, what do my customers want? Whether they're payers, providers, or patients. I always use the logo from my geriatric teachings, which always tells people to start low and go slow. I suggest that too in a business. The other thing, and to be successful, is study past businesses that have struggled. You can study current pharmacy businesses, but look at other businesses. Circuit City and BlackBerry are pretty much non-existent now. Why? They didn't see the trends changing in the business. Best Buy as a technology company, and technology companies are always being challenged of how they can do something new and better. Healthcare needs this too. Now, granted, there are things that we have to follow, such as licenses, boards of pharmacy, liability, HIPAA, and we also have to follow the different rules and regulations that happen. But how can we influence those rules and regulations, and how can we work within those rules and regulations currently to revolutionize pharmacy? So you do your homework, research, and that's what this assignment that's coming up is researching about that niche. Once you research, then you want to think about, what do you want your pharmacy business to be called? How are you going to obtain the proper licenses for your business to exist? What insurances will you need to protect your business? And from a tax standpoint and a legality standpoint, what does my business structure look like for me to be able to raise funds to make sure that I'm, contributing taxes but being taxed as least as possible to protect my entity? So the first thing is, once I have an idea of what business I want, what is the name of my business? Think about the name of your business should be an image of your company. It should make sure that the name fits the business. I'll use a technology company again. Think of Netflix. Netflix, how did it start out? Netflix was the name, but it started out as a service that just people could order DVDs for rental to be delivered to their home in a fast, convenient way. But what has Netflix evolved to? An online streaming company. Hence the name. Netflix did not pigeonhole them to just being net DVD. They were able to grow into a name that allowed them to do that. So make sure the name allows for growth of your business. Research names to make sure they're available. Look at businesses locally, and if you want to go national, national. Your own name may be part of your business. Do you want a logo to be an integral part of your business? If your business name, could it be part of your website? You can actually insure website names now. You don't have to have content on them, but I actually have 2 current business ideas of my own, which they are not in existence, but I actually have the domain names for them that I pay, I think, about $20 per domain per year. And so it's not real expensive. You could also hire a marketing firm to help you develop your logo and, your name idea. But I encourage you to try to really develop it yourself initially before you do that. Once you come up with a name and fill that name, you'll want to incorporate into the legal structure. You'll file it with the county clerk in the area that your business will exist, and it will be published as a fictitious name so that name can come into existence. After you develop your name, you want to think about obtaining what business licenses do I need. Obviously, to operate within the law, you have to apply for a business license either in the city or the county or both. This is proof to the IRS that you are a business, so when you are going to be taxed, they can look at you as a business, and then we'll look at your legal structure for tax purposes. Depending upon the area you're in, you may need a seller's permit, depending upon what type of items you're selling. The Board of Pharmacy currently right now does not look at you as a pharmacy unless you're dispensing, but some state pharmacy boards are changing those laws, and so you may need to require certain licensing. You may need to file, through the State Board of Pharmacy, collaborative practice agreements if your business is going to partner with physician practices. If you're going to do immunization, you may need, licensing for that. Also, if you're dispensing controlled substances, you'll need a license for that. So please take advantage of what is your pharmacy going to do and what licenses will be needed. The other thing that you'll need in your business is obtaining insurance. All pharmacies need multiple types of insurance: general liability, professional liability, workers' comp, product liability, disability insurance, business property, health insurance. One of the best tips that I can give you is go to a company and don't use them to buy insurance, but go to this company and pay them a one-time consulting fee to analyze your future business and what will you need in terms of insurance policies to protect you, your assets and your customers, and let them give you exactly what you need. Once you find out exactly what you need, then bid with the local insurances in your area to obtain those. And by partnering first with a company to tell you what you need, that way you're not going to overpay for insurance that you need. The other thing too, you'll hear me say this multiple times to you, the two most important things that you want, the two important type of entities you want to hire when you're starting your business is a good lawyer and a good certified public accountant. And the reason why both of these entities are going to help you develop the written legal structure of your business and determine what will be the best business for you to limit your tax liability. The three basic structures that a lot of people go into is either sole proprietorship, partnership, or corporation. Sole proprietorship is the easiest and least expensive. You're the sole owner of the profits and losses. You have total control, and there's less reporting needed. And you are taxed as an individual, and usually you can just file your own low personal taxes with additional forms added on. The disadvantage of this is unlimited liability. You're responsible for all your debt. Less available capital because it's going to be based on your sole credit, history and report, and there's limited growth potential. Also, limited protection. If you would die, become ill, or injured, this could endanger your business. This is a good type of business structure if you're going into just to like consulting, pharmacy, or consulting as a part-time business. Another type of business structure may be partnership. Two or more people agree to share ownership. You access to one thing this will give you is access to more available resources, talent, and skills. It protects you against if somebody gets sick, But it's important when you develop partnerships, you draw up agreements because partnerships are often like marriages. And although they can be very successful and very rewarding and bring happiness for the rest of your life, there are those that often sometimes can fail. And when they fail, if there's not stuff in writing, it can become messy. So the disadvantages of just a straight partnership is unlimited liability. Again, both partners or multiple partners are still liable. Profits must be excluded on each partner's must be included on each partner's individual tax return according to the percentage interest. Everybody's responsible for bad debt. And so you run a risk if your partner would skip town or whatever, you are, even though you can file some legalities, you still may be responsible for all the debt. And you also, often it's difficult to distribute responsibility. There are limited liability corporation partnerships, which are probably a better structure. Partners' risk is only their investment, and they do not, and also their only risk is their investment if they're not in the business. So you may have a company where you have partners, but they're silent partners. They provide capital investment. They believe in your business, and they are banking on your being successful to collect dividends from this. The advantage of this is the allocation of income and losses can provide tax benefits, and because limited partners have limited liability equal to their investment. However, the disadvantage is partners might become disenchanted because they have no control over the management of the business, but may want to have management of the business. And partnership profits are taxed as income to their partners. A true straight corporation, most startup pharmacy businesses should not go into for several reasons. It's the most expensive and the most regulated structure. But it is a distinct legal entity separate from individuals, so it does help protect against liability because the corporation owns its own assets and assumes debt separate from the owner. The downside is the owner can be taxed twice. The company has to pay income tax, and so do you based on your dividend returns you get from the business. The advantages of a corporation is ownership is readily transferable, easy to sell and get out. Increased opportunities for growth and fundraising can occur. The disadvantage is lots of regulations, stockholder meetings must be held, risks of the cost of maintaining a corporation, and the risk of double tax. Most pharmacy businesses look into what's called S corporation. S corporations allow small businesses to have its income taxed to the shareholders as if the corporation were a partnership. The specific conditions for an S corporation include limited shareholders, only one class of stock is allowed, a specific portion of corporation receipts must be derived from active business rather than passive investments. The business legal structure allows owners the protection from personal liability that is provided to the corporate structure and pass-through taxation of partnership. So limited liability companies are just good if you're going to have partners, just like an S corporation. The advantages of a limited liability company is the partners have complete management and control of the business. It works well with professional service businesses, and it works well for startup companies because they can deduct the losses. The disadvantages of a limited liability is that you can't have more than 20 partners, and if you do, you need to hire a manager. And also, the states require that you have an articles of organization. I've been part in my life both an S corporation and a limited liability company, and those are probably the two best entities that I would recommend you think about in forming a pharmacy business. If you are going to just do something on the side, you could be listed as an independent contractor, and the consultant often chooses the structure. You just have to show that you are not part of the business but a sole contract of this in the eyes of the IRS. But overall, to save money down the road, seek advice from a good CPA, accountant, a lawyer, and then also seeking advice of what insurance to buy, because you want to know what you know. After you form the business name and the type of business structure, you'll then form your organizational structure. We will talk about in another lecture where you'll lay out who are the names, the positions, such as the managing pharmacist, the staff pharmacist, certified technicians, field clerks, and what are their duties and responsibilities. The last part of this lecture, I leave you with two examples of entrepreneurs that weren't a traditional community pharmacy. The first is Mika Finnan. Mika Finnan was 47 years old back in 2011 when she won the award grant from American Society of Consulting Pharmacists. American Society Consulting Pharmacists and NCPA, National Community Pharmacy Association, are two pharmacy organizations that really back the entrepreneur spirit of pharmacy ownership and where you can get a lot of resources of how to become a pharmacy owner. Mika won this award to start her business, and she started Medication Advisors. And this is a limited liability corporation that centered on the forming of relationships with three distinct geriatric markets. She focused on people living in retirement, independent living communities, and her overall goal was to provide MTM services for those patients who wanted to still stay independent but did not want to have to go to a personal care home or skilled nursing. So she also focused on geriatric care managers who often work with these patients and family members, and also marketed directly to private pay patients. And so in all three entities, this is where she focused. How does she develop these marketing relationships with these people? She gave some free presentations at these community areas or at these companies to show the services she could offer for this. Her marketing philosophy was this: medications can often lead to hospitalizations and increased need of level of care. My MTM service was designed to help to prevent drug-related problems that could lead to having to use these advanced levels of care, and also how can we save money. So she focused on geriatric care managers, family members, as ways for referrals for paying customers. And by doing this, she was able to form a vital company. She developed a website to market her services of how you could contact her, and by doing this, developed that. The second entrepreneur I leave you is David Pope. David Pope is the founder of CreativePharmacist.com in Strand. David was a community pharmacist working for an independent pharmacy company in Georgia back in the early 2000s. David saw that pharmacy needed to find new niches and build other streams of revenue to stay in business. And so David focused on chronic disease states such as diabetes, asthma, smoking cessation. So he developed a company to teach pharmacies how to become certified to deliver these educational services and get paid. But as he was developing this creativepharmacist.com, he realized that pharmacies also needed a way to document what they do and to be able to send that documentation to payers and to physicians. And so David, in partnership with a longtime friend, Dan Lawson, developed Strand. And Strand, it was a clinical documentation platform to be able to develop the services David was selling and to partner. Currently, the Pennsylvania Pharmacy Care Network actually uses Strand for their clinical documentation system. But David, some entrepreneurs stay and own their business for the rest of their life. David loved what he did, but David also reached a point where even him and Dan just by themselves could not take the company to the next level. So this past year, David and his partner, they sold to OmniSyst, which is a larger company. And OmniSyst is now taking Strand to the next level. David has stayed on as a director of new businesses for this company, but saw his entrepreneur dream, grow, help provide for him and his family, and then also be rewarded by selling it to a company that's going to take it beyond. So the point of these two examples is it doesn't have to be a store, but it can be if you want. But you want to find out what is your passion and identify that niche. So this week, as you're preparing your assignment, please think about that. What is your niche in pharmacy? How does this add or revolutionize current pharmacy practice? What is your market? Who is your customer? And how are you going to create that market? I apologize. I was going to, at the end of last week, have posted all your assignments. I will be posting them this weekend, no ifs, ands, or buts, to give you feedback. There is no assignment from this week's lecture, just for you to continue on the niche. I will be sending out too early in the week a doodle to pick a time for us to meet, because when we do meet, we'll talk about your exploration of why you may want to be an entrepreneur, your niches ideas that comes out of this assignment, and helping you and guide you and share with you what will be the next steps to be able to deliver your dream. Thank you very much for listening, and like I said, hopefully the sound on this is okay, and we should be corrected next week once my new mic arrives. Thank you very much, and take care.